And that what in fact happened was Justin didn't harass Blake. Blake was interested in wresting control of this movie away from Justin, who was the director and the producer. She was just an actress in it. And used threats and coercion and bullying to do it. And to the point where this guy was in the basement at his own movie's premiere.
What I make of that is that if your wife is sexually harassed, you don't make fun of Justin Baldoni. You don't make fun of the situation. You take it very seriously. You file HR complaints. You raise the issue and you follow a legal process. What you don't do is mock the person and turn it into a joke.
My favorite part of what I've read of this suit so far is that Blake Lively did not even read the book that the movie was based on.
Correct.
And we're not talking War and Peace. This is a book that's probably written at a second grade reading level.
Yeah. Are you going to sue Blake Lively too?
Into oblivion, Megyn. And, and we're carefully considering other people that will be sued also. And some of
Ryan
it will
Reynolds?
come as a surprise. Ryan Reynolds, for sure.
Oh, wow.
Hollywood drama can turn a highly anticipated movie into a legal battle almost overnight. That is exactly what happened around It Ends With Us, the movie adaptation of Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel. What began as a project fans were excited to see on the big screen eventually became surrounded by public disagreements, lawsuits, accusations, and endless speculation online. At the center of the controversy are Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. Lively starred in the film, while Baldoni directed it and also played a major role in the production. Before filming even began, the project looked like a perfect Hollywood combination. The book already had a huge fan base, and many people were excited to see how such an emotional story would be brought to life. But once production started, things became much more complicated. One of the biggest areas of disagreement involved the tone of the movie. The original novel deals with serious subjects, including relationships, emotional pain, abuse, and personal strength. Some reports have suggested that there were disagreements about how much humor should be included in the film. According to claims surrounding the dispute, Lively wanted the movie to have moments of humor and a more modern feel.
We've come across evidence that shows that even her own representatives knew that she was threatening and mean and tough and wanted to get her way. This is not something that we wanted out there. It's not something that Justin wanted out there. In fact, it hurts the movie. It doesn't help the movie.
My favorite part of what I've read of this suit so far is that Blake Lively did not even read the book that the movie was based on.
Correct.
And we're not talking War and Peace. This is a book that's probably written at a second grade reading level.
Yeah.
While Baldoni wanted to stay closer to the serious and emotional tone of the book. That might sound like a normal creative disagreement. After all, actors, directors, writers, and producers often have different opinions about how a movie should look and feel. But in this case, the disagreement allegedly became much bigger than a simple discussion between two people working on a film. Fans eventually began noticing that something seemed wrong behind the scenes. When promotional material and images from the movie appeared, some viewers questioned whether the film captured the emotional atmosphere they remembered from the book. Some people felt that certain fashion choices and lighter moments did not match the serious nature of the story. Others argued that a movie adaptation does not have to copy a book perfectly, and that adding humor or changing certain details can help make a story work better on screen. And that is where the situation became even more complicated. Reports about tension between Lively and Baldoni continued to spread, with different sides presenting very different versions of what happened during production. Lively's side has made serious claims about her experience, while Baldoni and his representatives have strongly disputed parts of her account. Eventually, the disagreement moved beyond Hollywood gossip and into the courtroom. Baldoni filed a major defamation lawsuit connected to the public dispute, seeking hundreds of millions of dollars. The size of the lawsuit immediately caught attention because it turned what had already been a highly publicized Hollywood disagreement into an enormous legal battle. Baldoni's side has argued that he was unfairly portrayed in public and that certain accusations damaged his reputation and career.
I'm a man, and this is a story that is told through the lens of a woman. And especially when it relates to intimacy scenes and to scenes where there is a mix of intimacy and violence, I wanted to make sure that those scenes had a female gaze. As much as I can try to see the world as a woman, I never will be able to.
Lively's side has presented a very different version of events. With both sides fighting publicly, every text message, email, interview, and behind-the-scenes detail suddenly became important. That is one reason the story has become so difficult to follow. Every new claim seems to bring another response, and every response creates another round of headlines. Then came the most dramatic part of the story, speculation about evidence. Online rumors began suggesting that there could be messages, documents, recordings, or other material that might contradict one side or the other. But it is important to remember that internet rumors are not the same thing as proven facts. There has also been a great deal of discussion about whether Lively could face criminal consequences, including claims that she could potentially face years in prison for perjury. That is where people need to slow down. A civil lawsuit and a criminal case are two completely different things. Simply being accused of lying, giving a disputed statement, or being involved in a major lawsuit does not automatically mean someone will go to prison. For perjury to become a criminal matter, there would need to be a legally sufficient basis and evidence that the person knowingly made a materially false statement under circumstances covered by the applicable law. So, the dramatic headline suggesting that Blake Lively is definitely going to prison should not be treated as established fact. Still, the possibility has become part of the online conversation, and that alone has added another layer to an already complicated situation. The wardrobe controversy has also remained part of the discussion. Some reports have focused on Lively's fashion choices during the promotion of It Ends With Us. Her outfits attracted plenty of attention, with some fans loving the glamorous looks, while others felt the styling did not fit the emotional subject matter of the story. Again, this became part of the larger debate about who influenced the creative direction of the movie. Was Lively simply doing what she believed was best for the character? Was the production team making decisions together? Or were there deeper disagreements behind the scenes? Those are questions that have been discussed extensively, but the public does not have every detail needed to answer them with certainty. Then there's Ryan Reynolds. Because Reynolds is Lively's husband and is known for his comedy, his name was eventually pulled into the conversation as well. There were reports and rumors suggesting that he may have had some influence on certain creative ideas or humorous elements. But much of that discussion has been based on reports and speculation, not confirmed facts. That has not stopped social media from having a field day. One minute, people were discussing the movie itself. The next, they were analyzing relationships between the stars, old interviews, social media posts, fashion choices, private messages, and every little detail they could find. That is how Hollywood scandals grow.
What I make of that is that if your wife is sexually harassed, you don't make fun of Justin Baldoni. You don't make fun of the situation. You take it very seriously. You file HR complaints. You raise the issue and you follow a legal process. What you don't do is mock the person and turn it into a joke.
A small disagreement becomes a headline, the headline becomes a rumor, the rumor becomes a social media debate, then suddenly millions of people are discussing a story they may only partially understand. Meanwhile, the original purpose of the movie can get completely lost. It Ends With Us was supposed to be a story about complicated relationships, difficult choices, emotional survival, and finding the courage to break unhealthy patterns. Instead, much of the public conversation became focused on the people behind the camera. That is probably the most unfortunate part of this entire situation. Fans spent years waiting to see the book adapted into a movie. Many wanted to discuss the performances, the characters, the story, and whether the film successfully captured the emotion of the novel. Instead, the conversation became dominated by lawsuits and accusations. And now, everyone wants to know what happens next. Will the legal battles continue? Will the parties reach an agreement? Will more documents become public? Will additional claims emerge? Or will the entire situation eventually become another chapter in Hollywood history? Nobody can say for certain. What we do know is that this story has become much bigger than a disagreement over a movie. It has become a battle over reputation, creative control, public perception, and legal claims. For Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, and everyone involved, the consequences could extend far beyond "it ends with us." But for the fans, there is still one simple question. Can everyone move past the controversy and allow the story itself to take center stage? Because at the end of the day, people picked up Colleen Hoover's book because they connected with the characters and the emotional journey. They did not pick it up expecting a Hollywood courtroom drama. Yet somehow, that is exactly what this situation has become. And if there is one lesson Hollywood keeps teaching us, it is this. Sometimes the drama happening behind the camera can become even bigger than anything written in the script. For now, the public will continue watching, waiting for new developments, and trying to separate verified information from online rumors. One thing is certain. This Hollywood story is far from boring. And if another twist comes along, you can be sure the internet will be talking about it within minutes. So what do you think about the controversy surrounding Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni? Do you think the legal battle will eventually be settled, or do you believe we are going to hear even more shocking details before this is over? Let us know what you think in the comments, and make sure to stay tuned for the next update.